Oh, look at this.
13. Is that the bad luck?
So that's good for me. When I started working at Erasmus, I was supposed to give my inaugural address, and I wanted to do that. And that was an arrangement between Suzanne and me because it was also a moment to profile our new program a bit. So I started working in January, and I wanted to have my inaugural lecture that year, but I had to prepare, of course. And then there was only one day left, Friday the 13th of November.
This was 2010?
Yeah.
9. That's right. I seem to recall something.
And I first planned this, you have a lot of freedom in an inaugural, so I first worked on giving a lecture about the media representation of Friday the 13th. Of course, I already saw some movies, so you would love it. And some clips from tapes, etc. And I wanted to add some history about what that meant and how it was far too complicated. It's far more, as soon as you start looking into it, it is far more complicated than I expected.
Oh,
I forgot my glasses.
okay. Welcome, everyone. Dear Media Culture and Society graduates, parents, partners, brothers, sisters, friends attending this ceremony or watching it online, somewhere in the Netherlands or elsewhere. Dear colleagues, it is my pleasure to be here to host the graduation ceremony of the Media Culture and Society Master Program. I'm the program coordinator, the teacher of one course in term one, and I play some kind of support role through the master class. A little bit more than a year ago, in September 2, 2020, together with my colleagues Arno van der Hoeven and Marcos Calvini, I welcomed you to the program. We were really excited to meet the class of 2020, 2021. which brought together people from more than 12 different countries, including Belgium, Brazil, the UK, China, Colombia, India, Indonesia, Italy, Romania, Russia, Spain, and the Netherlands, of course. That first encounter was through Zoom. In 3 breakout rooms, we talked about our many places and media experiences. I think some of you may remember. I remember now some of those stories, but above all, I remember the enthusiasm and creativity with which you shared those stories. And indeed, the challenges ahead demanded much of both, creativity and enthusiasm. 2020-2021 was a really awkward year. The Zoom welcoming was followed by an online escape room and by a mix of online and offline classes. In online classes, we came together from different time zones and areas of the world. Some offline classes on campus looked almost normal. Others were less conventional. In the desperate and lucky search for spaces that would host us and the 1.5 meters between us, we turned into a local community center, Hedwijkpaleis. We turned it into a classroom. And then, after that, for a long time, we just saw each other online. Too long, too much online. In September 2020, back then, we had no vaccines, no home tests, no QR codes. Now, being together in this room in Rotterdam, sitting side by side one another to celebrate the completion of such an intense year, it feels like the graduation from the master program is also a graduation in mastering the worst of the pandemic, at least in this part of the world. It is really impressive how you managed to master both at the same time. You had 10 months, not even a year, to look for answers to some of the most prevalent questions of our time. How is it that the media are so present in our lives? And what does that mean? How do the different media work? What are their possible future directions? When can and should the media take us? Where? Even more important and more fascinating, how can we, you, contribute on how the media are used and produced, on the ways in which the media impact our societies? Those and other equally challenging questions guided you through several courses, each of them involving multiple readings, engaging class discussions, and too in-depth assignments. You had a lot to write, including a full master thesis with your original contribution to the field of media and communication studies, your answer to your own and original research question. And in between, you built new and strong friendships and mastered how to live in a world turned around by a pandemic. Congratulations. You are here to receive a diploma you should be really proud of. Speaking also on behalf of my colleagues and certainly all your supervisors, as well as the people in the room, I tell you, we are also extremely proud. Congratulations. We continue the ceremony with the student section, and I want to invite, yes, welcome, Sarah, Sandayani, and Bella to the stage.
Would it be a little bit of a cliche to start this presentation with yet another COVID reference? It's a rhetorical question, and absolutely yes, it would. That said, this is probably the first time we've gathered here together as a class, and that's very ironic because we're literally graduating. I'm sure I speak for all of us when I say that at the beginning of this program, we were plenty skeptical, but also a little excited. And lo and behold, a year later, here we are. To honor the end of a chapter, we've prepared a little something. And this is probably a homage to all the epic highs and lows of, well, life in university, but pandemic edition.
Okay, so we asked all of you to cast your votes when it comes to the Media, Culture and Society Graduation Awards. And I would like to start the presentation now. Yes, surprise. Okay, so let's begin. The first award, if I may, this award is for the early bird. More specifically, this is the person who was always early in class, maybe the first of all, whether it was on Zoom or online. So I'm going to announce in a bit who won this award, and then the person can stand up, come and get your certificate, and you can accept another small gift. Maybe may I ask? Yes. So the first award for the early bird goes to Brechtje Stam. Brechtje, congratulations. You really deserve it. Thanks a lot. Then, let's move on to the second award. This award is the award for the interior decorator. More specifically, this is the person with the most original Zoom background. May I ask your applause for Laura Mastraccio. Yes, thank you. I actually didn't want to do it in front, but if you want to share it. Congratulations, Laura. I think this award is also going to your boyfriend's underwear, right?
My boyfriend is sick there.
Yeah. Okay. Then the next award is a special one, because unfortunately, in a year of Corona, not everyone is able to graduate today with us. However, there still were some classmates who really deserve a spot in this ceremony. I would also like to appreciate the effort of those students being present here today. And that is also why we decided to include them in this award show. So the next award for the best presenter goes to Joep Tempelaar. Yeah, I was. Joep, congratulations.
Be back next year.
Then the next award for the aspiring author, why not both, right? Goes to my very sweet classmate and neighbor, Jayanta Divanovji.
The next award is for the Efficiency King. This is for someone who had to give a little award but achieved a lot. And so I think it's very well deserved. Hendrik. So the next award is for the conversation starter, the person who asks a lot of questions and always replies in time in the class group chat, and because we know we needed that a lot. Nicole Cruz.
Congratulations, Nicole.
All right, so next up we have the first responder. So we have a group chat, right? And a lot of people have a lot of questions they ask in the group chat. And this person specifically always have time to reply to those questions. And who is it? It's Hugo.
I'm surprised.
Congratulations. Okay, next up, the storyteller. So this specific person always has a story to tell, always gets us interested. And who might it be? Lizzie. Congratulations. Congratulations. Okay, moving on. We have the poker face. So I'm pretty sure everyone's familiar with what the poker face is, right? You can't really guess what this person's thinking about from their expression. And who does it fall to? It goes to Jerome. Unfortunately, Unfortunately, he's not here, but we'll send this to him. Congrats. All right. And last but not least, this was actually nominated by a couple of people. The kindest heart is basically the perfect combination of a sweetheart, a kind-hearted person, the lovable personality that we have in our class. Can I have to the stage Sally Cheng? Woo! Congratulations. Okay, so that was actually the last prize, and all of that was like voted by every one of you, so it's not biased from us. But a last note from me is I know that this is, like Shai said, it's the first time that we've gathered here as a class, like, which is very ironic. But I hope that maybe in the future we don't lose contact within each other, and we can always, meet up and talk about, the funny 2020 and 2021 master's program. Anything to add?
I just want to thank you all for your participation in the voting process and the wildcard to Sally, actually, which was a nice addition to the categories we originally came up with. Thank you all for the really nice year, and let's go to our diplomas now.
Let's go to the second diploma, right? For many of you, this is not the first diploma you received today, which makes this ceremony very unique. So I will start calling the new graduates, and I will start by, or at least to stand, right? Your supervisor will speak in the 2020-2021 mode through the screen. And then I will be happy to give you your diploma. So, Shai, please. We'll start with you. Sayantani. Dear Shai, all experiences of thesis supervision are processes of discovery and learning. As supervisors, we get to know the student, which in itself is something to be grateful about. And through the student and their work, we get immersed into topics, places, characters, media genres, social and political phenomena that we would be never able to explore on our own. And yet, the journey from one's comfort zone as a supervisor and a student project is rarely as big as the journey I traveled working with you on this thesis. You analyzed Japanese anime, and not only Japanese anime, but you compared shoujo and shonen in relation to gender issues. Poor Shai, how many times and with how much patience did you have to remind me about the differences between one and the other? How much evidence and passion did you have to bring to our conversations for me to be able to grasp the intricacies of your project? And how well did you do that, of course? Your invitation to the world of shoujo and shonen was certainly a fascinating one. I know you enjoyed the many hours you spent watching, rewatching, and coding Attack on Titan and Fruits Basket. But I also know that the sophisticated and critical analysis you engaged in required serious, dedicated, daring work. It allowed you to problematize simplistic assumptions about gender representation in these shows and in anime more generally. In doing that, you underscore anime's potential as a space for contesting given gender roles, and thus contributing to social change. Shai, it was great working with you and learning about this topic. Thank you and congratulations. Yes, and our next graduate is Dion.
So I first met Dion in one of the classes last year where we were still lucky enough to be face to face. So I was really happy to supervise his thesis because at least he was someone I had met in person before. Also, I was really happy to supervise a thesis because of the topic was really interesting. So he interviewed non-white Dutch young people about Disney movies and ethnic representation in Disney movies. Now, we all know that Disney has tried to do better lately, but also there are some problematic movies. And knowing what people actually think about that and how young people who are not white perceive the representation in Disney movies is, I believe, one really crucial point. Therefore, I was immediately enthusiastic in supervising this thesis, and it was really a pleasure to read. Now, I know it was difficult during COVID lockdown to write a thesis for a number of reasons, especially when you're doing interviews and reaching out to people that you can't necessarily meet face to face or you have to meet with restrictions. So I'm really proud that Dion was able to complete this work and write such an interesting thesis about such an important social issue. This is why, Dion, I really want to congratulate you for graduating, and I wish you all the best for your future.
Hendrik.
So Hendrik wanted to study representations of heteronormative masculinity within queer communities in the Netherlands through an analysis of the dating app Grindr. This is a very exciting and interesting topic. I had to confess to Hendrik, however, that I'm an old person who never used dating apps. So he was really good at sort of like showing me how they work and how they could be analyzed. So I felt in a way I had a lot of pleasure reading and supervising the thesis. And on the other hand, I also learned new things myself. Working with Hendrik was really nice. I have to confess also that at the beginning, I was a bit nervous. I was thinking, I don't know what he's gonna write and what he's gonna discover and how he's going to analyze the apps. But the thing is, he would just present to me drafts that were good and well written. And I was really happy with that because I felt that despite being nervous, it was an easy job to supervise him. He was really independent, he's flexible, he really knows the subject, and this is something that interests him, and therefore he studied with passion. So the thesis came out in very, very interesting. And I think this is one of those subjects that really needs to be studied a little bit more because it can teach us a lot about how do we think about masculinity, especially when we're talking about queer communities. Therefore, Hendrik, thanks a lot for such an interesting topic and congratulations on graduating today.
Lizzie, your supervisor is waiting.
Hi Lizzie, and congratulations on coming to the end of your master's program. In your thesis, you tackled a topic that was of interest to you, historical film, and particularly the construction of collective memory through Second World War films among Dutch audiences. You came up with this topic and you never gave up on it. When I challenged you on this topic, you worked hard to improve it. Even when the feedback asked for a lot of changes, you did not give up. You took it in and never complained about the work that it entailed. And I have always appreciated this ability in you, as it spoke to your independence and to your ability to work in an independent manner. Throughout the entire process, you stayed on track and you delivered the work by the promised deadlines. For your research, you got to interview people, an experience that often allows us a glimpse into someone else's thought processes. I hope that this has helped you see the world through someone else's eyes. I know your thesis topic was close to your heart, and I hope that by exploring it in more depth, you made the process more pleasurable and more interesting. I wish you good luck in your next endeavors.
Jody.
Congratulations, Jody, on the thesis you've written and, of course, the whole journey from last year. It's been really nice working alongside you. Your thesis about the representation of lesbianism in historical drama was really interesting and relevant. And working alongside you has been a pleasure, mostly because of your contagious energy. One of the greatest part I feel about supervising students is that we get to know about you in a more personal manner than in other courses, of course. And I have learned a few things about you that I think will stay with me. your handwriting skills, for instance, in those notebooks of yours, your dislike for early morning schedules, your love for dogs, and of course your ability to follow a schedule even if it's not you who made it. And I think the person who made that schedule for you should get a round of applause because it was a particularly good one that worked out really well. You've also learned a few things from me, and one of them is that I'm not so good at keeping track of Dutch bank holidays, and I hope you won't hold grudge for scheduling one of our supervision meeting on King's Day. Not my best hour. I have really enjoyed seeing you work on this topic. You cared so much about it, you were so committed to it from the very start, and it was great seeing you turn what you cared so much about into such a solid thesis. You've done a very meticulous analysis of the movies you had selected. You had insightful findings, and you've shown how many skills you have to design research and to conduct research. I hope you will keep fond memories of your thesis journey. At least you have your notebooks to remind you of that. And I hope that you will keep that wonderful energy wherever you go. So congratulations again, and all the best for the future.
Geraldine. Dear Geraldine, one of the first memories I have of you is a colorful flyer, an invitation to an activist artistic event in the Les Saal Rotterdam West. Even though I could not join in that event, it became very clear to me that you were someone, above all, actively and creatively committed to social justice. This became even clearer as we started thinking about your thesis and talking about it. I went back to a log you sent me with initial ideas. You were interested in the news coverage of the protest in Chile and of the peace process in Colombia and the unemployed in the Netherlands. You were also interested in the Caribbean Papiamento community and the so-called participation law in this country. At the end, you opted for yet another topic, but one equally driven by your interest in understanding power inequalities and conflicts and contributing to a better world. You were going to analyze how the news and news consumers talk about undocumented Venezuelans in Aruba. The thesis process was not always easy, and the pandemic did not help much. Yet, I've rarely seen someone as equipped as you to talk about inequalities without running the risk of reproducing them. Your work is marked by a precious sensitivity and care towards those you write about, and especially towards those who are suffering. And even though I would like to think that this is something we teach in the program, I know we cannot take credit for this. This is something you brought with you from the very beginning to class, to our thesis meeting, and something that is very clear in your work. It is something that I'm sure will take you and what you do very far. I'm very proud about that. Congratulations, Geraldine. It has been a real pleasure working with you. Violeta.
Hi, Violeta. Congratulations. You deserve every bit of this honor and more. You've worked so hard, so diligently, come through so many obstacles that you and I both know how you went through them, how you tackled them. And I must say that your outstanding quality is this quiet dedication, continued hard work, and absolute focus on whatever you're doing. You brought so much nuance to your work. You were able to actually think very critically, function so well throughout the thesis that, again, I have been amazed by your perseverance and the kind of subtlety you brought to your writing. I really look forward to working with you. And hopefully, this is just the start of a fantastic new beginning. I know you wear many hats and you're doing a lot of things at one time, and I wish you success in each and every one of them. While I'm not there for the graduation ceremony, I will hopefully soon be there to meet you in person and all of the other students together. We need a little party and a little celebration of our own, but for now, enjoy this.
Brigitta.
Hi Dianti, it has been my pleasure to work with such a well-organized and committed student like you. Even though our conversations had to take place online, I have always appreciated your planning skills and your commitment to your thesis. You have chosen a very difficult topic, and you had to make your way through countless articles and book chapters that I kept on throwing at you. And I often wondered whether you felt I was asking too much of you. Well, regardless of that, you delivered. You kept your part of the bargain. You worked diligently to ensure each version of your draft thesis was better than the previous one. I know you have worked extra hard, and I hope that you can see your own progress. I also hope the experience of working together this past year has been fruitful for you. At the very least, you got to binge watch some Netflix series, even though your supervisor is still unable to go past the first episodes of Ugly Delicious and Street Food. So after so many episodes, I think it's time for you to start sampling the local and the global cuisine. I wish you best of luck in your next endeavors. Stay committed and put those planning skills to good use. For now, enjoy your graduation day and congratulations on successfully finishing your master program.
Laura.
Hello, Laura. I'm here today to talk about my experience of supervising your master thesis, which was an immense pleasure. It was great. It was a rewarding experience of supervising your work. Laura was continuously motivated to progress on her work and find effective and creative solutions with great enthusiasm. In our meetings, Laura was always so friendly and came up with inspiring ideas and critical discussions. Her emails were also very insightful and showed how much she was doing in between supervisions. In her thesis, Laura investigated how female international students experience intimacy and sexuality through Tinder. Her focus was specifically on women's agencies and active role in shaping their relationships with the app and ways of dating, which in turn had an impact on their negotiations of place and belonging. Despite being a very sensitive topic, Laura managed to contact key informants among the group of international students who helped her get insights into their digital intimate lives as well as their networks. At a later stage, I remember reading the draft of her results from the first time and how impressed I was with the very interesting data she collected and analyzed. I'm sure Laura learned a lot from these experiences and throughout the entire research process. Laura was also smart enough to give herself some breaks in between the writing process, always meeting the deadlines in the schedule. This reflects her great maturity and responsibility during the thesis process, but also during the program in general. I'm very proud of her entire research trajectory. Laura, I also would like to thank you for the great talks we had in between supervisions. Big congratulations on your thesis, and I wish you all the best for your life and career.
Rosalie.
Hi, Rosalie. Congratulations. This is a very special day, and I hope it marks the completion of a long, fulfilling, and absolutely wonderful journey. You came to me with a topic that was squarely in your space of interest and passion, and I'm glad that we chose to work together and I could supervise you, because I think along the way you taught me a few things. Gender and language is a space which needs people like you who are interested, who are passionate to speak out and to deliver the kind of rich and layered work that you have delivered. All the very best for everything. You've been an ideal student, you've been disciplined, extremely focused and dedicated, and with a great routine. You were absolutely on time with everything that you submitted. So I couldn't ask for a better student and I wish you all the very best in all your future endeavors.
Hugo.
Dear Hugo, as you get ready to receive your well-deserved MA diploma, I'd like to say a few words in relation to the half year you worked on your research project. The first thing I want to say is that you started with some uncertainties, but that's how all projects start. But yours were mainly based on the fact that you were coming from a purely language academic background, where another type of thinking takes place in terms of, for instance, the writing style, APA, and even the structure of the research and even methodology. What I found extraordinary is the speed with which you made the shift in a relatively short time. The second point is that you chose a very ambitious and highly relevant topic, namely framing terrorism. You wanted to answer the broad question about the role that racial and religious affiliations play in the labeling of mass killers as terrorists or not. Your starting point sounded like, why do journalists in the US and in the Netherlands tend to refrain from calling the Breiviks of this world terrorists, whereas they hasten to do so for the Abdel Salam's counterparts? As we speak, your findings can easily be extrapolated to the framing of the fall of Afghanistan and the chaotic repatriation of foreign troops. Is it the end of a mission? Is it the end of a foreign occupation? You're now an expert on media framing, and you've demonstrated the high-level ability to investigate this type of questions with a robust thinking. Let me congratulate you on your graduation and wish you all the best for your next steps.
there are more diplomas to come, don't worry, but we'll make a short intervention now. Actually, I will leave Joao here, my colleague, to hand in the thesis award.
Hello everyone, nice to be here. Nice to be here to hand an award, because celebrations are for awards and happy moments are always awesome. It's nice to see you all together. I almost feel the impulse of starting to teach here since we missed them during the year. But no, that's not my job today. I'm here to celebrate the achievement of 3 amazing students who were nominated for this thesis award. So this is an occasion, again, not the first award today, but I hope it doesn't pale in comparison to the previous ones. But this is an occasion where we as teachers come together and analyze the best of the thesis. All theses who have a grade above 8.5 and are written in English are eligible, but then the committee looks at them, looks at academic excellence, how well they fit with the program, originality, and also their usefulness for society, and narrows it down to 3. So, after intense reading and intense work, we have narrowed it down to these 3 students. And so, the nominees are Nicole Cruz Roa, Janiel Holder, and Elke Oude Wernick. So I could read the titles and talk about their thesis, but who better to talk about the thesis than the students? So each one of them prepared a video, and that's what we'll show now to know a bit more about what their work was and what they have to tell us.
Hello, my name is Nicole Cruz. I am a graduate student at the Media Culture and Society Master's Program, and I just want to share a bit of how my thesis experience went like and when it started. I think it began when I was registering for the program itself, because I was really interested in delving into cinema and some of the feminist preoccupations that have been at the core of last year's discussions. And I also wanted to have a very profound look into my own context, into my own country of origin. So when we were deciding the topics of our thesis, I just came up with the idea of having domestic violence at the core, because it is yet very pervasive in Colombia, and I think it is not sufficiently addressed. And I noticed that only one female director has made a film about it in the last 20 years, when us women are at the core of domestic violence, at least in Colombia. So that caught my eye, and I started doing interviews, and I started doing a character analysis of the film, and that's how the project just came to life, I think. And in terms of the experience, I would say it had a bright and a not so bright side, to be honest. I believe it made me come very close to 2 of my friends, Sally and Janiel, but it also required so much perseverance, so much determination and support from my friends and family. I also believe that Isabel, my supervisor, was a huge part in terms of the support that got me where I'm at right now. So thank you very much for the nomination. I believe that the 70 pages I produced are honestly a miracle. I am very proud and thankful for this honor, and also congratulations to the rest of nominees.
Hi everyone, this is Janiel here, and well, let me start by saying congratulations. We made it. If you're watching this video, congratulations with your Master's in Media Studies. I hope that this Master's can help you with your future endeavors as well, and I wish you all the best with your future endeavors. I am in this honored position that I'm also nominated for the Thesis Prize 2021. So with this video, I want to briefly talk about my research process and writing the thesis, how that went down, basically. My research was concerned with how academically educated Black Dutchmen from former Dutch colonies, how they create and negotiate their identities in what I came to call Dutch white spaces. So, you know, I had to break down all of these things, like, okay, what it means to be a Black Dutch person, why is it relevant to discuss this from a former colony's perspective? Whiteness, white supremacy, race and racism in Europe and the Netherlands. It was awesome. I learned so much, so much, and that is like purely based on like the desk research that I did, and then conducting interviews. I had 11 amazing, though lengthy, interviews. They were qualitative interviews, and they were amazing. Transcribing them was a bit tedious, honestly, but the transcriptions, of course, also give me amazing information. If I have to think about challenges, because I think all processes have their own challenges, I think I should be thankful that my biggest challenge wasn't even when I started writing the actual thesis. It was when I handed in my first proposal, and that was a flop. It was failed. So I had to go sit with what I wanted to do, because it was so vague. It was at the beginning, and I didn't have it clearly yet. But once I had my second version, and with Melodine's guidance, I started realizing like, oh, this is huge. What I'm doing is actually socially relevant, scientifically relevant. It can help with policy and understanding racial dynamics in the Netherlands. So I felt like I was adding to an ongoing conversation about race and racism that I think should be discussed more loudly and in academia as well. So yeah, that was it. I also, next to the guidance of Melanie, I have to mention, I had some peer support from Sally and Nicole. They were amazing. Working with them also facilitated the ease, like it didn't feel like a burden. My thesis didn't feel like a burden to me. That's the way I can put it. Well, that's pretty much it. Now, again, I am honored. I just wanted to say nogmaals in Dutch, but again, I'm honored to be in this position. And well, good luck with all of your future endeavors. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Elke, and I'm very honored that my thesis has been nominated for the MCS Thesis Prize. So through this video, I would like to shortly explain what my thesis was about. So in my thesis, I studied the representation of female teenage identity construction within teen series. And as a case study, I chose the teen series Elite, which is a Spanish crime teen series, which has become very popular in the recent years, especially among a young audience. And the reason why I chose this topic for my thesis is because I am very much interested in gender, in identity, in post-feminism, and in media representations. So I thought when studying teen series, all of these elements come together and they appear to be very much intertwined. And also because post-feminism becomes more visible and important in the last couple of years, this made me very curious about what this means for the way like young womanhood is represented in teen TV nowadays. So to study female identity as a whole, I used a broad range of theories and concepts on gender, sexuality, of course identity, and race, class, among some others. And to go very briefly and simply into some of my results, the analysis of Elite showed that the overarching theme within the representation of the female characters was that of post-feminist girl power, where, for example, the girl characters were portrayed as sexually empowered and confident, intelligent and independent women. But at the same time, results also show that there are a lot of gender and racial stereotypes and post-feminist pitfalls that still exist in duality with this young female empowerment in teen TV. So yeah, this was my research in a nutshell. And I have to say that I really enjoyed the writing process because I really found my subject interesting, and I learned a lot about not only the topic itself, of course, but also about what it means to conduct a large-scale study. But at the same time, and I think like everyone else, I also experienced the usual thesis stress. I, for example, really underestimated how time-consuming the analysis part was. And I also found it very difficult to bring all the information that I collected together as a whole. And at the same time, while working from home all year, I experienced that writing a thesis was an extra big challenge. But luckily, I had a very nice and helpful supervisor who really encouraged me throughout the whole process and who provided me with really useful feedback. So yeah, in the end, I must say that I am very happy with the results that that I've gained with my study. So yeah, I hope this gave you a clear idea of what my thesis was about. And thank you all for listening.
So 3 very interesting theses among a quality that had a cohort that had already a high quality of thesis. But now we get to the moment of picking one, knowing who the winner is, and drum rolls. Nicole! Here. And congratulations to the supervisor as well. Let's go to the photo op. Okay, so this was a nice part, and I hand it back to Isabel so we can continue with the diplomas.
And more of the also very nice part, I want to call Bella.
Bella, Bella, Bella! Finally, it's your graduation day. Lots of congratulations. I guess you must be wearing your beautiful Indonesian traditional outfit now and have been taking photos everywhere on our campus this morning to post in your Instagram account. Am I right? Then you must have received thousands of likes from your followers. In this way, you share your joy with people as you always have been doing. I am fortunate enough to have received the joy you share in a more direct way as your supervisor. To be honest, your creativity and positivity turns the process which is supposed to be difficult and boring into an enjoyable experience to me. So thank you. And please keep that spirit on, and I believe you can achieve anything you want in future. Now your very well-deserved fruit is here, and it's time for you to enjoy all the applause again. Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations.
Daria?
Dear Daria, today is graduation day, and that allows me to start with a question. Do you remember this chair? You probably do, because it's the chair you sat on when we discussed your thesis project in my office. That was an exceptional situation because most of our conversations went on online as a result of the pandemic, of course. It was an extra complication for a project that was already complicated because you addressed a tough question. Tough in research, tough in application. You studied how media literacy can help to create a better place for people with mild intellectual disabilities. And you focused on issues related to inclusion in that respect. And you were strongly motivated to do so. And you succeeded. But the project as such was not without its challenges because you were a bit afraid that the way you reported on research and on previous studies would be too short. You expressed to me that you had some difficulties with having these long sentences in your writing to make them convincing. I can safely say now that your thesis shows that being brief is a quality. You really succeeded in completing a pilot project that is meaningful and helpful for the Media Literacy Network in the Netherlands. You found out many important aspects related to this question, related to inclusion of people with mild intellectual disabilities. So I congratulate you with writing that accessible thesis, and I'm sure that you will find your way in the media landscape yourself soon. Congratulations to you, congratulations to your family, your parents in particular, and congratulations to your friends. Enjoy the day, celebrate it, and hope to see you soon.
So I met Brechtje the first time in one of my classes, and she came immediately to me with a thesis idea. I noticed two things. She was really clear and determined in what she wanted to study, and also her idea was really good. She wanted to look at female representation of characters in Marvel movies. So I loved it, but also I never watched Marvel movies before. So for this first, I really want to say thank you to you, Brechtje, because I had the perfect excuse to start Disney Plus and watch all the Marvel movies during the long month of winter lockdown. And then also thank you for being such an amazing student and supervisee. Brechtje is really academically gifted and is one of those students that comes with drafts that are really well written and complete and has very good ideas. So I really believe that Brechtje is both suited for a career in academia or outside it, and definitely she has a curious and flexible mind. I really enjoyed reading the thesis and learning new things together with her, watching the movies, and in general, trying to understand how women and female characters are represented in pop culture. This is such an important topic that has so many effects on society at large. And I really hope you can continue develop this topic and explore this specific issue. So congratulations, Brechtje.
Jeroen is not here, but I think we'll still listen to Joao, right?
Hi Jeroen, hi everyone. Happy to be here on graduation day. It's always an exciting day, and very happy to have a video format for this speech, because as Jeroen's research has shown, when you have an actual video together with your podcast, you get more engagement. So I'm being more engaging with you guys, and hopefully the message will come across better as well. So this was a tough year. It's always exciting to get to graduation day, but even more so in a pandemic year when things get harder. And Jeroen was not happy with that. So he just made things harder for himself. He tried a new method. He wasn't familiar with quantitative methods before, had never tried them, but he still wanted to do an experiment and did a really, really cool experiment with podcasts and video podcasts, which involved a lot of work, but produced an awesome final result. So if I had to highlight a couple of characteristics from Jeroen, and this is a day for praising them, is indeed this persistence, never giving up, but also being able to set yourself up new challenges and being able to overcome and progress, which is not something that everybody does, right? Many of us already won't consider a pandemic challenging enough, but Jeroen did take the extra step. He tried new methods. He excelled at these methods. He was always willing to work, always a perfectionist, always wanting to do that extra step. And for those reasons, it was a joy to supervise him during this past year. So, in order to stick to the 2 minutes, congratulations, Jeroen, congratulations to your family, all your friends, all of those who were also responsible for getting you here today. I hope you are enjoying yourself. I hope you have some celebratory drinks afterwards. And thank you so much for the work, and really happy to be here. Congratulations.
Yibing.
Hi, Jibin. I'm very happy to congratulate you on this major accomplishment. I got the chance to really see you grow in our program because we met in a lot of different educational settings. First, in the pre-master media studies, you had to follow this pre-master because you have a background in a different field. You studied Spanish before. In that same year, you also participated in an extracurricular activity supervised by me and my colleague Etienne Augier. The goal of this project was to provide additional intellectual stimulation to students, and together with a group of fellow students, you advised music venue Paard in The Hague on how they can adapt their programming and marketing to some of the future changes in the music industries. In the year after, you followed my course Media, Culture and Globalization, and then I even became your thesis supervisor for a project about Chinese hip-hop and youth identity. It was great to work with you on all these different projects because you are a very committed student, open to learning new things and open to new experiences. And in fact, the projects I just mentioned are only a small part of the activities you engaged in, because I know that you also did some internships, and in fact you also did some other extracurricular activities, and you are also a very good singer. It was great to work with you on these different projects, and yeah, once again my congratulations. This degree is very much deserved because you are a hard-working student, so I wish you all the best for the future.
Yubo.
Hi Yubo, hi Yubo's folks, this is Julia. I was the supervisor of Yubo's master thesis and I prepared a little speech to give a lot of compliments, but guess what? I don't even need my notes. Because it's very easy, Yubo, to give you compliments without lying at all. You are such an independent worker, always prepared and always asking the nice and good and smart questions that even make me think a lot of times how to answer them. Your thesis is about video games and what makes people play video games, especially minorities such as the LGBT community. I think you did not only contribute to understand minorities and their media choices, but you also contributed on a higher level, namely to understand how video games can help people to cope with life. Interesting, especially in such special times like now, or like we had in the last 1.5 years. Even the World Health Organization says it's better to play video games than to drink alcohol. Yubo, thank you again once more for being such an awesome student, and I'm really looking forward to write this paper with you, and because I always promise you that you once see me in full body. This is me. Not only the upper part, but this is me.
Sally is our first student to receive the praise of a cum laude.
Hi, Sally. Congratulations. This is just an amazing event that I cannot be a part of physically, but I'm there with you in spirit. I think you have all of the makings of an amazing academician. You've gone through your thesis with so much rigor, dedication, complexity, and attention to detail that I have been astounded by your performance. And it's a pleasure to have supervised you. I'm sure you're going to do very, very well. I love that you're so passionate about so many causes and that you really believe in them, and you have the vision and the courage to take them forward into an academic setting. So all the very best to you. Stay in touch. I'm sure we have opportunities to work together, and enjoy this day, because this is actually very, very special. You're going to be absolutely brilliant in whatever you do.
Nicole. Dear Nicole, we met online when the academic year had just started, and due to COVID restrictions, you were still in Colombia. From the very first online class, your enthusiastic engagement, your detailed reading of the texts, and your questions caught my attention. More than once, we stayed after Zoom hours to push some discussions further. Pushing discussions further, I realized, especially when we worked together in the thesis, is something you are particularly good at. I went back to your very first email when we heard that we would have the opportunity to work together in the thesis. Self-critically, you reflected on the need to strengthen the theoretical depth of your writing, and you talk of your determination to produce an excellent thesis. I knew you were capable of producing excellent work, but the extent of your determination only became clear when I saw the professionalism and care with which you creative and analytically dealt with the literature and with the data. I saw how you processed my feedback and how you kept revising and improving your work. Already the setup of your study was pretty impressive. You combined an analysis of the documentary film Ella with interviews with the director, Livia Gomez, and 4 other women involved in the film's production. You also engaged in the political economy and the gender politics of film production in Colombia. In an international department like ours, we all aim at de-Westernizing knowledge by expanding the literature we use and situating our data in relation to specific social contexts. But we know that it is a tough challenge. The ways in which you dealt with this challenge in your thesis further underscore their importance. Altogether, you produced a study that, which first, second, and third reader agree, constitutes a significant contribution to feminist film studies and to our understanding of the possibilities for social transformation more generally. Once again, Nicole, congratulations. You managed to translate your passion and determination into a real bulletproof thesis. It was an honor to be your profe along this journey. Sarah.
Sarah, you have been writing a thesis on social media use of Flemish politicians. Your question was, how do they use the most important political platforms, so Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter? This is a very promising thesis. It shows that the difference between these three different media are not so large, that it's more about the differences between different politicians. So specific politicians have a completely different way of using social media than others. Well, why is this so interesting? Many studies ask about differences between platforms and not differences between politicians. So what you could say is that your thesis leads to many different new questions that could be explored in the future. That's a very promising end of a master thesis. This is, well, so I'm happy that I have been able to supervise you from this kitchen with the work that you have been doing in a very independent way. So actually this was not, it did not have to do anything with my supervision because you did it yourself anyway. I think what needs to be said here is that you are one of the best students that I've supervised in recent years. And that's probably also the reason why you're graduating with distinction today. You're allowed to do hand clapping now. I would say that your thesis was excellent. Your work was excellent. Apparently the rest of the master where I wasn't involved with, but that was probably excellent as well. That's a promising start of what could be an academic career. I'm not completely sure whether this is your ambition. Sometimes I think it is, and sometimes I think you still have some doubts, but at least you started working at our university. So that's a good way to explore whether this is a route that you want to take in the future, and I think it would be an excellent choice for you because this has been very promising work, and it would also be good to rewrite this into an academic paper or a journal article or something else. So congratulations with your excellent thesis, with your master, and with your new job. And we'll be meeting each other on the campus.
Elke.
Congratulations, Elke, on what you have achieved. I think already from our very first meeting, I understood that you would be doing very well and that I was really lucky to be your supervisor. I remember you had 3 topics in mind, all of which were very interesting and would have, I'm sure, resulted in very beautiful thesis like the one you wrote now. It didn't take long for you to settle on a topic, and from there, I think there was no stopping you anymore. You came prepared to all of our meetings with clear questions and just knowing what you wanted, and you just kept to your schedule, the one that you had set for yourself. So I feel that it didn't matter you were doing a double degree. It didn't matter that we were still in the midst of a pandemic. There was no stopping you. This is something that has really impressed me over the past year, this ability that you have to just get things done. You are dedicated, hardworking, determined, and I saw how much extra effort you put every step of the way for the thesis, from data collection to data analysis to the writing part as well. There were a few moments where maybe you seemed a little bit unsure of how well you were doing and were a little bit stressed about the deadline. And yet, from my side, there was never any worry that you wouldn't finish in time, seeing how well you were doing. The only question I had was how good the thesis would be, and for that, you didn't disappoint for sure. You wrote a beautiful thesis, one that is rich, detailed, nuanced, relevant, powerful. So congratulations again on all the hard work you put into it and what you've achieved with your thesis. And congratulations especially on the attitude that you've showed during this whole journey, because those are the kind of qualities that will take you far wherever you decide to go from now on.
What a joy, right? I've attended many media, culture, and society graduations. It is always one of the happiest moments in the year, one of pride and encouragement, looking back at what our graduates did and confident of how they will further contribute to our field and to society. And yet, every graduation and every cohort is different in many ways. We have been talking about how different it is this year, right? For some of us to meet face to face for the first time, actually. Some did not sit in the same classroom, and we are coming together coming together is particularly exciting, right? Already when I saw the line and I could recognize faces from television, it was really particularly exciting. It's the first time that we have a graduation with giant supervisors on the screen, the first time that people get more than one diploma and a chocolate. We always miss the chocolate. It's great. It's a great addition we should definitely keep. It's a real pleasure to be here and to be part of this journey that you have made. Not because others have made this journey before, the challenge is any less meaningful this time. For sure, you explored new territory in terms of modes of learning, as well as the topics you explored in your very interesting thesis, where we got some glimpse of today. We wish you all the best in the beginning of your new careers, confident that you have powerful tools to succeed. Congratulations again, and enjoyed the much-deserved, hopefully many, many celebrations. We are done?
The group photo.
A group photo.
All right, graduates, if I can get you guys all up front here, we're going to do a group photo. Parents can just stay